I think Watkins is a good differential because not many people went on him, and I think with Pedro's injury, not many people can go to him even if they wanted to this week.
Is that relevant to a captaincy decision, Sam,
No,
of
it's
how
not, Siva, but
gettable
it's
someone
relevant.
is, or how?
It's relevant to the vibes you get when when your captaincy pays off compared to what everyone else captained.
Oh, is this a thing?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam. Game week 5 coming in, Sam. And as a non-Haaland owner, Sam,
Who's
you
Haaland?
must have had a really fun weekend.
Who's Haaland? Never heard of that name before. No idea who are you referring to, Siva.
So how is FPL Moneyball working, Sam? How is it going? Rebuilding Haaland in the aggregate. How's that going?
You know what? It's really annoying because I looked at my team last week, right? And I got quite a few picks that returned. So, I was kind of happy. Like, I got Watkins right, which was great. Watkins. I brought in Saka despite the so-called bad fixture, still returned. Quite happy with that. Garnacho didn't start but still returned. Kind of happy with that. And then I look at other people who, like, their whole team blanked except for Haaland and the captain Haaland, and they're, matching my points. So that's the reality of FPL Moneyball, I guess. But, well, let's keep going. If I had my captaincy right, so I think that was the only thing this week, because I captained Salah and he blanked. Who would have thought, the mind couldn't beat the mighty Forest? But yeah, if the captaincy got right, then I think I would be, I'll be doing decently.
Yeah, but that's what we said, right, Sam? If you
Yep.
recall, we talked about
Part of
Haaland
the
and
value of Haaland, yeah.
boring captain, probably good for a goal or two. And I think you just consider yourself lucky it wasn't a hat trick. And
I was
good
right,
week
Siva.
to have a bad week.
I told everyone that he couldn't keep it up. And he had a whole 33% drop in goals per game. So
And if you count Champions League, I mean, that's like, I don't know what's the percentage, but he's basically finished, right? Blanking
yes,
against Inter.
finished. He's washed. Everyone sell Haaland. Pep's gonna sub him off halftime. He already said this week.
Pep did say, I'm going to make 2 subs every halftime. This is the new Pep. Um, if it was
Rico
possible
Lewis
for a
and
ball
Haaland
man
off
to,
at halftime.
Rico Lewis off at halftime. Hey, that's a good question, Sam. Let's just talk about Rico Lewis. Let's just get straight into it, right? So we both are proud owners of Rico Lewis and have spent weeks telling other people to get him in, while we've enjoyed his points. And so everyone joined in this week and are very angry at us for saying Rico Lewis is a good pick. And everyone's immediately talking, oh, we got to sell him now. But this, to me, this was all part of the plan, right? It was a risk we knew going in, no?
Yeah, I agree. A 4.5 City player doesn't come often, right? City starter. So we are always prepared for the fact that he might lose his place somewhere in the near future, and we're just gonna enjoy the points while we still can. And once he's dropped, he loses his place, then he goes out. 4.5, 4.6 now, I guess. You can easily trade it to anyone. Lots of players that options, lots of options out there.
You think he's lost his place? I don't think so.
I mean, not yet, but will he keep it? What I'm saying is that the potential outweighs the risk. So even if he loses his place, it's not like you're spending 6 mil on a player or something like that. It's an easy transfer out, or you can just bench him. Like, it's 4.6, doesn't really make a big difference. That's what I'm saying. It's worth taking
Yeah,
that risk.
I was never planning on playing him against Arsenal anyway, so maybe I think the issues people are having is a lot of people who have Rico Lewis seem to have decided that he's their third defender and they have
Mm.
2 unplayable people like Harwood Bellis and stuff on their bench. I mean, that's a problem, but we told you that going in, you always have bench cover for him. But
Yeah,
he's still, I think, a really decent pick. Even in the Inter game, which is last night, he's playing second striker at certain points. Like, he's just so high up, played the full 90. You can look at that good or bad. Why is he playing Champions League? But you could look at it as he's part of their best team. And so
yep.
Pep is playing him in the hard games. Uh, I think, again, I would just play him until the benchings become more of a problem.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Okay, so that's Rico Lewis done. Very good. Let's talk about Joao Pedro, Sam,
Mm.
because in in a week where a lot of things went wrong, I think the first sign that this was going to be a bad week was when, what is it, 3 o'clock UK time, Brighton lineup comes out. Joao Pedro not even in the squad, and Fabian Hertzler, the Brighton manager, he's only been here 3 weeks. He's younger than both of us, and he's already bald. A 31-year-old man already bald. He said nothing in the press conference, right? He just said, "Oh, Jao's coming back. We'll see how it goes." Suddenly, oh, he's got a knock, and he's gone. He's vanished. Not in the squad for the Premier League game. Not in the squad for Carabao Cup last night. So Joao Pedro, immediate sell, right?
Yeah. Plus, I think Brighton only has one more good fixture before it starts to turn. Home game against Forest, which is that even a good fixture, because Forest has been pretty impressive. This start of the season they have been honestly. But after that, Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle, Wolves home, and then Liverpool City. Oh, that's a nightmare run. So unless I think you have two options, either you sell or he just sits on your bench at 5.6, 5 point, yeah, somewhere around there.
5.7, depending on when you went in. Yeah.
Okay, 5.7. He's still a good. I mean, how do I put it? If you have more pressing issues, you can just leave him on the bench. But I think the problem is a lot of you guys went with Haaland, Salah, Trent, loaded up on premium, so you're dependent on Joao Pedro starting, and that is your issue right now. Which maybe is a warning in future. Do not put a 5.5 forward as your starting player with no bench cover at all.
Yeah, again, see, I feel like we did say all these things. I for example, have Joao Pedro, but I've got a full playing bench. But I'm seeing a lot of people with Lancashire, Chiwome, Jebison. These are all just names I'm making up, but actually they're real people. Mahoney, bunch of non-playing 4.5 forwards. And of course, you're scared now because you're down to Joao Pedro. He doesn't play, and you're basically, yeah, you're kind of screwed. So
Yeah, because you're also
let's
priced out of making a step up to another striker that actually starts.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those who have been careful enough to keep some cash in the bank, and also to be fair, Alexander Isak, right? We should probably go up in budget and talk about Alexander Isak, who this week, came off at halftime because blurry vision or couldn't see or looked at his points on FPL and just like, my eyes, and didn't appear for the second half. So, what are you doing because Alexander Isak's a very easy question to answer. Suppose you've got budget to go anywhere. Where do you go?
Yeah, I have Isak, so I am thinking,
Hmm.
is he confirmed out this week?
But he
Because he
wasn't
has
in training
one.
yesterday.
Okay, that's
So
not good.
we're recording Thursday early morning. Let's assume he doesn't make it. What do you do?
I have a few forwards on my shortlist because I have to make that transfer out if he doesn't start. But annoyingly, a lot of the fixtures only start to turn in game week 6. So I think one of the prime transfers in I would go maybe is Havertz, back to Havertz, because Arsenal has this really nice run game week 6 onwards, but then he has that City fixture this week. Other than that, unfortunately Wisa is out, because I think I would have loved to go for Wisa, but now he's confirmed out for, what is it, 2 months, something like that, a pretty long-term injury. I know
Let's
there's a lot. Yeah, Siva, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, so on Wissa being out, let's kind of just quickly sidebar to Brentford a bit. A lot of it's not forwards, but I suppose it does influence, especially if you got Joao Pedro, you can't move. Brentford's got two very cheap midfield options now. Kevin Schade, 5.5 million, and Fabio Carvalho is 4.8 now.
Is he a
So
forward?
they're
He's a
both
midfielder, right?
midfielders. They're
Okay.
both
Yeah.
midfielders. But I think it's relevant because a lot of people will definitely be looking at Brentford. I personally feel Spurs is an okay fixture. I don't mind it as a fixture, but I think it's too early to go in because we don't know if Schade plays or Carvalho plays. And to be fair, I don't think even Thomas Frank knows because
Yeah.
natural replacement would be Kevin Schade, but Carvalho played so well midweek, a goal and 2 assists. It seems kind of harsh to just not play him at all, and they paid so much
Yeah.
money for him as well.
But surely, Mbeumo will be the number one Brentford pick to have.
Yeah,
And I mean, you could argue you're looking at two assets individually by doubling up, but do you really want to use two midfield slots on Brentford? So Wisa would have been perfect, I think. But unfortunate for the injury. Other than that, I know, Siva, I kind of know where you're heading with this. Are you gonna suggest DCL?
okay. Yeah, so coming back to, yeah, okay, so back to forwards. Well, DCL, okay, there are two hype every week. There's a hype pick, right? Last week it was Joao Pedro. We saw how that turned out. So this week the hype picks, everyone's talking about it. The bandwagons are DCL, and Jamie Vardy. What I don't know, maybe we've gone back in time like 5 years ago, but let's talk about DCL first. And to be fair, Everton, despite sucking very bad, they are scoring goals.
Are they?
2 goals
Okay,
against
I
Villa. I
mean,
mean, they
yeah,
took the lead.
that's true. That is true.
And even in game week 1, they were, I would say, very unfortunate not to get a penalty. DCL was basically fouled by Lewis Dunk, but didn't get the penalty. I mean, he's cheap, he's nailed, he's on pens, he's 5.9 million, and this fixture run looks very decent, no? Everton
It
play
does.
Leicester
It
and
does.
Palace, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, the next 6. Probably just overthinking this, right? If you don't go for him.
Maybe, but there's also that I don't know. I just don't trust Everton right now. Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, those are fellow relegation candidates. So those might be good, nice, nice games for them. The others could be a bit tough. But again, like you said, they are still scoring. They just can't seem to hold on to their leads. So
And
maybe,
if they can't hold on to
maybe.
their lead, they need to score more goals. See?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Maybe. I would definitely prefer DCL over Vardy. I think because Everton just is a slightly better team than Leicester. Yeah, I think below 6, below 6 mil, DCL is probably your best option if that's as far as your budget can go.
I think the concern with Vardy is that game week 6 feels like a blank, right? They're playing Arsenal. And so that's what puts me off Vardy. I get that he's a really tempting 1 week option if you're on wildcard game week 6. You get the Everton home fixture this week and you're done. But game week 6 against Arsenal is tough. And also Jamie Vardy, this is the problem about reading stats and stuff. Like he scored from one shot this week.
Yeah, if I'm
And
not mistaken, he's taken 3 shots this season and scored from 2. I remember seeing that stat somewhere on Twitter. I could be wrong, but yeah. Basically he scores with, I don't know. Is that a mark on his finishing, or is it
oh,
he
you're right. 3 shots,
regression?
2 goals.
Yeah, 3 shots,
You're
2
right.
goals.
That's
So is
insane.
this a massive overperformance, or is this the rate he's gonna go? I don't know. I think there's just too much risk to go with Vardy. DCL, if you had to pick one between the two, I would go DCL. Although I'm just gonna throw it in there that Chris Wood is only 6.1. So if you can stretch for Chris Wood, he might be a good sleeper pick because they have decent fixtures: Brighton, Fulham, Chelsea, Palace, Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle. So I would say it only starts to turn in game week 10. So after West Ham game, they got Newcastle, Arsenal, Ipswich, City, United, Villa. So that's when you maybe want to get off. But for the next few weeks, Forest, maybe?
Let's not talk about sleeper. We'll leave the other 10, 20 FPL podcasts to discuss that. But back on, okay, Chris Wood. I mean, Chris Wood versus DCL. Now that feels like a debate I can get into because I'm not sold on Vardy and you're not sold on Vardy. And to perhaps explain why I'm not sold on Vardy, apart from the fact that he's only had 3 shots, I just feel Steve Cooper, Leicester, very defensive team. In fact, if you follow a lot of Leicester fan channels and Leicester podcasts, they're all quite frustrated with Cooper because he plays really defensive football. they've started playing Wilfred Ndidi as a number 10. For those who don't know, Ndidi is basically a DM, but he's playing him as a number 10 because he wants that many defenders on the pitch. That's his focus. And so I feel like Vardy's just going to struggle to keep this up, as good a striker as he is. And so for me, it's DCL and Wood. I guess the only thing that puts Wood off is when you look at the fixtures like we have them on the screen, it feels hard, right? Brighton, Chelsea in the next three. But maybe I need to stop looking at these colors, right? Because Forest have been really good and they
Yeah.
beat Liverpool.
They did. They look tight. And it looks like, they just score one goal a game, which is actually what they have done. 1-1 in the first game. They beat Southampton 1-0. Then another 1-1 against Wolves. And 1-0 against Liverpool. So they just score one goal a game. But, well, Wood scored 2 of those. And in each time he scores 3 bonus points. 6.1, I think it's a tempting pick. I will go for Wood.
Oh, this is hard, man. This is really hard. Because Chris Wood feels like, a pick that no one's going for this week, that's what makes it tempting.
Yeah,
Whereas
makes it tasty, right?
DCL, it does.
Whetting your appetite for some Chris Wood.
Yeah, this is a hard decision to make, man. I don't want to go. I don't want to take the software out and just go with DCL.
Although
Okay.
that said, I think if you have the budget for it, Watkins would probably be the best forward pick of all.
I
I'm
mean,
happy I
if he
went
plays
early,
past
sorry.
60 minutes, but
Doesn't matter, he's still scoring. And I think he did come out and say that it was just like a precautionary, sub.
yeah.
Which sounds good. Means that he should be okay for the weekend. Home game against
I mean,
Wolves, Ipswich, United, Fulham, Bournemouth. Good fixtures.
Yeah, if you got the budget to go up to Watkins, even via 2 transfers, I think that's like a no-brainer this week because game week 5 is kind of a tough week. The best fixtures are generally amongst the bad teams. Like Southampton plays Ipswich, you don't really want anybody from either side.
Yeah, pretty
City,
much my transfer strategy now is just let's see who is playing Southampton this week. But unfortunately, I don't want to bring in any Ipswich players as well. So this week's a bit tougher.
I mean, to be fair, I did consider Liam Delap quite a bit. Because again, sounds very spicy, but also I just thought Southampton, anybody can score against them. But Delap came off on 58 minutes this week. And from what I read, Kieran McKenna, the Ipswich guy, he likes to make a lot of attacking subs on 60 minutes. Apparently, he did this a lot in the championship. And he's now got a full set of forwards and midfielders who he can bring on. So if that's going to keep happening, then no, I don't want. We've already seen with Jota, this is starting to annoy me. I don't need more players who don't play 90 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, okay, Chris
so the
Wood,
choice is
DCL.
between Wood and DCL for us, pretty much.
Yeah, Wood and DCL. I mean, Danny Welbeck's still not convincing you, I'm guessing. And to be fair, Evan Ferguson is back now, and that's a problem. Which actually, Joao Pedro's issues get worse and worse.
Yeah. And by the way, Brighton's fixtures really turn in game week 6 onwards. So I wouldn't bring in, unless you're planning to wildcard in game week 6, so it's just a 1 week punt. But, to use up a full transfer, not on a Brighton player.
Yeah. Palace and United, I'd like to talk to you a bit. And also Spurs, right? Because they have 3 strikers who all of whom I would say save for minutes. Let's start with Palace because that's the most people who had points this week would have got it either from Watkins or Mateta. So
who has Mateta?
People who had him on game week 1. I definitely had him in some of my drafts, and then I dropped him because I was worried about Olympics and stuff, and he did come back quite late. But we saw Mateta this week, 2 goals, took the pen away from Eze, basically walked up to him and said, "No, man, it's mine."
Yeah. Are you worried with Nketiah? I mean, they both played 90 minutes the last weekend.
Yeah, but it seems like Mateta's the main man still, right? Nailed, plays up front. I think Nketiah had to play off the wing. Mateta's on pens. He tucks his shirt in. He's a French guy wearing the number 14. These are He's been, working with Henri over the summer. Clearly
Yeah.
thinks he's above Palace's level. I mean, that's why he's telling SA that he's not taking pens. Um, these fixtures are hard to read though, and he's quite a high price for the fixtures that he has.
Yeah, he is quite expensive, I would say.
7.5.
Nketiah could be a tempting option if he, I don't know. Will he keep playing 90 every week alongside Mateta? He played in the midweek
Carabao Cup.
fixture, yeah, and he
Both of them
scored.
did, to be fair.
Oh, did both of them score?
No, Mateta came off around 60. Nketiah played, I
Mm.
think, the full game, scored. Eze scored and assisted. Of course, Eze only does these things in cup games.
So yeah, I don't know. I think of all the budget forward options, my number one pick would be Chris Wood.
Okay, so still the safe guy amongst all these picks. I
Yeah.
just want to ask you, Dominic Solanke, we've gone completely cold on him. Is that because Spurs were outclassed by Arsenal? Because they have much easier fixtures now.
Yeah, but I think just on a whole, I would like to wait a little bit on Solanke. The injury kind of took some time off that would have been useful for him to integrate into the squad, get some games together with the rest of the team. So I would like to wait and see for Solanke. I think he's priced really attractively, but for someone who's, just totally coming in new to a new team, I think it's a wait and see for me.
And to be fair, Spurs were really bad last night in the cup against Coventry. They were losing until like 88 minutes, and then they scored two last-minute goals. Solanke had come off by then, so it doesn't bode well. This looks like a team that's still figuring itself out. A lot of possession, but not a lot of end results just yet. And we also don't know who's on pens. So
Yeah.
if it's not Solanke, then that doesn't make him as interesting, I think.
Xerxes, are you still on Xerxes, Siva? Like I
Look, I'm still
still positively, you still see him in a positive light.
I mean, this we'll keep this short because I'm the only person in the universe who owns him, right? Just me and one other guy from work, I guess. So I think I, it's one of those. I was hoping to come on the show triumphantly. I have been the only guy to get the haul. Anybody who watched that match will tell you that I've been robbed, right? Uh, he should have had a hat trick. Okay, more
He
XG than
seems to
anybody.
should have had a hat trick almost every single game we play.
Yeah, so maybe I found the Dutch Darwin Nunes. Maybe I don't know. It's early days. What I will say is that he was very attacking, played the full 90. So in a game where they won 3-0, he had the most XG. I feel like at some point one of these has to go in. I'm okay to hold. I think what is most positive about that performance was that he was kind of crucial to their link up play. So yes, he didn't score, but he gave so much in the link up and the build up play that means he's safe for the next few games. United's a very weird team to read. Like nobody knows you should be positive or negative about them. But I always thought the next two fixtures were fine. Palace and Spurs. These are not great defenses. And to be fair, I don't think Villa, Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea, none of these are defenses I fear. So happy to hold for now, but obviously I'm not recommending him as a buy. That was just for me going against the Southampton game. Take a shot. You see, you miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, I went for Garnacho, in
I'm
which
so
you were
annoyed,
right,
mate.
Siva, he didn't start, but I was also right in which he is United's best attacking player. So we were
Uh,
both right at the same time. He kind of balanced out, so I didn't get a haul, but I got a nice, decent 6 points. Just I'm happy with it. So no
I mean,
complaints.
talk about being robbed, mate. I told you Garacho wouldn't start. I was so confident, and you still ended up with the better outcome. But yeah, fair play, man. Fair play. It was a good goal.
Yeah, I don't know though. Is he gonna start soon? He should, but at the same time, Rashford did he scored as well, and that midweek game in which they won like 20, what was it? No, 9-0,
7-0, right? Yeah, 7-0.
7-0. Sorry, confusing it with the Bayern game. 7-0. Yes, Garnacho had 2 goals and 2 assists, something like that. So it
Rashford
does
played up
look
top.
Rashford played out top and scored, but again, it's a team 2 divisions lower. So I don't know how much we can read into the game, but good for their confidence, I guess. Let's see how it goes. What if Xerxes gets dropped this week? Rashford's up front, Galachos on the left. Could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'm not.
Unfortunately for you, Silva.
I'm not worried. No, I mean Xerxes starts. I think the fact that he didn't start midweek is good because, well, it depends how you want to look at it, right? Like Rico Lewis played full 90 midweek. That's good because Pep trusts him. Joao Pedro didn't play. That's good because they want to keep him for the weekend. Xerxes came on midweek. That's good because they had to keep him fresh. You
Yeah.
see, so
It's
pick
tough.
your
It's
narrative.
tough. You know, we are just making guesses actually, to what the manager's thinking.
That's this game entirely. Press conference is an absolute waste of time. But let's talk about United. Let's keep this rolling because moving into midfield, right? I think we've covered the forwards, all the options that you can consider. Let's move into midfield because Jota is becoming a problem now, and even Luis Diaz, right, didn't start midweek. Gakpo started and had his best performance this season. Rashford, are you mildly interested? 7 mil, cheap.
What, moving to Rashford? No, I'm not, Siva. I'm not. There are lots of
If
players I
you
would like, but like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit annoying that a lot of their fixtures only turn in game week 6. Like I think, if you don't have an Arsenal player, Saka would definitely be a big buy next week. A Brentford midfielder, Buemo, possibly, one of the others as well, would be a great buy next week. Annoying thing is that, this week it's kind of hard to find a player for this week, whose fixture starts turning this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you one. He is a very attacking midfielder who returned this week. He's nailed. He's got some set pieces. He's cheap. He's English. He
Okay, I'm
is
gonna guess. Smith Rowe.
no. I mean, I love
No.
Smith Rowe, but no. Fulham fixtures are hard. This is a guy who plays 90 minutes, Sam, and he plays for a very unfashionable team.
Oh,
It's
Dwight McNeil.
there you go, Dwight McNeil.
What? Are
So,
you serious?
hey, let's not knock it. Wait, double-digit haul this week.
Yeah, I think that's his quota for the year. So you missed it. That's it. Wait for next season.
But I mean, Dwight McNeil does very well on all these sort of. You're gonna scoff, right? But all these sort of models and predictions and stuff, he scores really highly. Okay, he's returned 2 weeks in a row, and he now has a set of fairly reasonable fixtures, right? Everton fixtures look good, and I think we'll all agree that Everton have been undone by their defense, right? But we don't care about that, do we? Because if the attackers are returning, the attackers are returning, and he's 5.4 million nailed on 90 minutes. How many 5.5 million mids do you have who are nailed for 90 minutes?
Yeah, even Smith Rowe can't make it.
Yeah.
What about Onana?
He can't keep this up, mate. I mean, surely this. I mean, I feel bad because I've told casual friends, you don't buy Onana. He's never going to score again, and he just keeps like scoring these bangers and headers and stuff. But no, I mean, real talk, I don't see Onana being sustainable in terms. That's like picking Kante, mate. That's not going to work. Okay.
Or like picking Gundogan or something like that, Siva?
No. Let's not. Don't insult me, okay? Gundo and Kante and Onana, different levels. Okay.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah.
coming back, Dwight McNeil. You didn't even give me a fair shake,
Okay,
Nailed
go ahead.
Everton midfielder. If DCL is in your options, why isn't Dwight McNeil in your consideration?
It just feels wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I
But
kind of like Dwight McNeil. I think from a few seasons back as well. Like he's always been that really hardworking, one of the few or only creative player that Everton has. So a lot of the burden falls on him. But I will go for DCL over Dwight McNeil, I think. However, and I feel there are just better options in the midfield slot that you can go for.
name them, mate. There aren't that many, especially at that price, no.
At 5.5, Amad Diallo.
Also not nailed. I mean, if you're worried about Garnacho, you're also worried about Ahmad.
Yeah, but Garnacho has this ability to score even off the bench, so that's why I'm a bit less worried about Garnacho.
Yeah, so
Hmm,
doesn't address the question, right?
maybe you can move up. Oh, what about Sobo? Soboslai, who has had 2 assists this season. I mean, kind of points ticking in, but 6.5, not that much. And he plays 90 every week. He is nil, unlike Jota, unlike Diaz.
That's an option. I mean, he did score midweek, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's an option.
But it's a really boring option. You're gonna get assists. You're gonna be frustrated some games because he gets the assist before the assist. But one of those options that will tick over if you have strong knees not to transfer him out, over the course of many games. I think the points could tick.
I think it comes back to your initial point, which is game week 5 just kind of sucks, right? And you want to wait
Yeah.
till 6 and maybe get Semenyo or get the Brentford guy who will play if you can't get to Mbomo. You could even
I'll
work your way up.
Yeah, I'll give you an option, Siva, that I like. That is a bit above the 5-6 price bracket, but I really like Jared Bowen, 7.5. So a bit pricey, but has been really good. He's returned 3 weeks in a row, by the way. No one's talking about it. Goal against Palace, assist against City, assist against Fulham, and I don't know, the fixtures doesn't look good on paper. Like right here, if you're watching the video, you would see West Ham are kind of smack in the middle. But Chelsea at home, they can score. Brentford could probably score. Ipswich, Spurs, you can definitely score. United at home, definitely scoreable. So I think from an attacking point of view, I like Bowen. In fact, I think I'm convincing myself to get Bowen in this week.
I mean, Chelsea's. I think Chelsea really fortunate against Bournemouth, and again, so much of this is narrative based, right? If Evan Nilsson can take a better penalty, Chelsea probably lose that game, and everything changes. But because he missed, we're talking about Chelsea as if they're a really tough team to beat. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't mind it. Joao Bowen at home, and then after that, fixtures look really good. Brentford, Ipswich, neither of these are great defenses. Spurs, bad defense. United, Forest, yeah.
Yeah. Although I would say you could probably go early on one of the Brentford players because the fixture this week is bad on paper, but Spurs away, come on. They're definitely
I mean,
scoring in that. So
yeah, if you go, I think you can only really go with Boomo because as of now, that's all the info we have. Eze losing pens. I mean, let's assume he never takes another one again. Does that make him bad or he's still okay?
I mean, he still has decent fixture. So we said it earlier. Was it maybe 2 game weeks back that is this just the type of player you got to be patient with? The points will tick over throughout the season. Assist here, assist there, kind of thing. Doesn't haul as much as you would like. I think especially what was it? Was he had a few hauls towards the end of last season that kind of shifts people's perspective on him. But
Yeah.
generally, he's a player that ticks over and not a real high ceiling type of player, I guess.
And at 6.9 million, I mean, what are you expecting, right? You're happy with a goal every other week, an assist here or there.
Yeah.
And we all agree he's been unlucky so far. So a matter of being patient. Um, Premiums, maybe we sidebar the premiums before we go to captaincy. What has this week, done to your thinking? Palmer, Saka, Susaka returned again with bonus, because Spurs can't defend corners, and Cole Palmer blanked, and everybody's getting cold feet. People who have Cole Palmer. So
Uh,
ah, so talk to me, sir.
I will talk to you, Siva. First of all, I'm very happy about Saka. I think we vindicated those who kept the faith. I brought him in on a wild card because I think Saka is just the type of player who can score against anyone, return just about against anyone, and he's nailed. He plays every week. He's consistent, so you just keep it in for long term, right? Saka's fine. Now Cole Palmer, that does seem to be an issue. He is really expensive. I have someone who I am quite keen on, although it is a bit risky. He's cheaper than Cole Palmer, so Phil Foden. Can I interest you in a Phil Foden now that KDB is injured? Although we don't know the extent of the injury yet, but he did come off injured in the last night's Champions League game. By the way, for those of you who are listening, we are recording this on
Thursday morning.
So we haven't seen the last round of Champions League games. For all I know, Saka could get injured tonight. Hopefully not.
Saka's
But
made of adamantium, mate. You don't need to worry. He'll limp off. He'll be stretched off. He'll start on Sunday. Okay.
but yeah. But just a disclaimer there, the advice might come before any late injury news and things like that. But yeah, KDB went off injured. Phil Foden down to 9.3.
3.
I went early on Foden. It was a really bad decision, but perhaps now is the time. Although it's probably one of their worst fixtures in the entire calendar, right? When they play against Arsenal, it's the only team that seems to be able to consistently stop them from scoring. They didn't score against Arsenal, right? In 2 games last season.
Didn't score in 2 games last season. Arsenal have Rice back, and you saw everything from the Spurs game. Arsenal are coming here to defend. Like, they will take a 0-0 happily and walk off. Arteta doesn't care, right? So, I mean, this is arguably not. I mean, unless you're on wildcard this week, I suspect this is not how you're going to use your free transfer. And also, Sam, not to dampen the mood for Foden, but the thing is that he's kind of competing with Savio, in my view anyway, on the right wing. And I don't think the KDB injury, yes, it influences it in the sense that Foden's the next best creative outlet. But I would think that Gundogan is the one who comes in for KDB. Now, both of them came on at halftime against Inter, so this doesn't really help us in trying to figure it out. But my feeling is it's Gundo for KDB, Savio out for Foden. And sure, Foden should start more. He's the second best player. But I'm still not confident enough to go there. Kind of want to, let Pep figure this out before I go there.
Yeah. I think that's fair. You could wait 1 week, and then next week when they play, in the fixtures, they have a really nice fixture run. Newcastle, Fulham, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth. So you could see who starts this week in KDB's place, and then move next week. But yeah, just something to look out on.
Yeah, and I think Game Week 6 is a good fixture. Newcastle have looked really bad so far. The position in the table is a very inaccurate reflection of their performances. Very, very lucky in all these games, especially against Wolves. No right to win that game.
All right. Then, I don't know who started. The only other premium option is Salah, right? Who, you're not going to sell Salah. So
we're solid, right? I mean, that blank changes nothing for me. I assume it changes nothing for you.
No, still captaining him this week, I think.
I was going to come to captaincy. Let's talk about it now. So, captain this week, Salah, not even a debate. You have Watkins. I'm surprised you're not tempted.
I am tempted. I am tempted by Watkins captain. It would be between the two. Yeah. If you have Haaland, okay, let me ask you this question. For Haaland owners, do you keep the faith or do you, chicken out? Because it's a really hard fixture, the hardest fixture that City would play.
The only way you captain Haaland this week is if you don't have Salah and if you don't have Watkins, then I can understand it. That's acceptable. Even though it's a bad fixture, Haaland still, I mean, I can show it to you now. We have some stuff here, which so much vibes. I didn't feel the need to go through all this. So we have goal scorer odds on the screen. Haaland second to Salah. I think this kind of charts, Haaland's always going to be near the top. He's just inevitable. So,
but for the first time, he's not top. I think this is
not top. But it tells you what it takes, right? It's the hardest fixture in the season, and he's only second. Like it doesn't push him down that much. So if you didn't have Salah, Watkins, sure, I'd consider Haaland. But for me, it's Salah all day long.
In that case, I'll go Watkins. If everyone's going to captain Salah, I'm going Watkins.
I liked how I needed to push it. I mean, if that's the case, Sam, you should go down to Vardy, right? I mean, he's on this chart too.
I don't have Vardy Silva.
If you really want to be differential, no?
I think Watkins is a good differential because not many people went on him, and I think with Pedro's injury, not many people can go to him even if they wanted to this week.
Is that relevant to a captaincy decision, Sam?
No, it's not. Silva,
gettable someone is, or how
it's relevant to the vibes you get when when your captaincy pays off compared to what everyone else captained.
Okay, so basically XS, which is X Spice. Salah
Yeah,
X Spice less than Watkins.
very low this week because everyone
Mm.
will probably captain Salah. So the spice is with Watkins this week, everyone.
So if you were talking like Nando's, Haaland would be like lemon and herb or something like that.
Yeah, lemon
Mild.
herb. Yeah, no, Hugh. Actually, I would say this week he would be a bit spicier because no one's gonna captain him, and if he ends up hauling, yeah, it's good. But I always feel the spiciest picks are the ones that people don't even have because a lot of people have Salah and Haaland. Now, if you captain Haaland and he outscores Salah, great, but it's not that big of a difference because people already have him. Whereas Watkins, if you captain someone who no one has, whew, that is when you get the ultimate spice. Extra hot.
Very
what's
good.
Saka? Saka is a Nando sauce, right?
Saka does have a Nando's. So I should also be, caution you that Nando's is quite a niche reference, okay? Like it works for us and maybe some UK people. If you're like from America, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Do they not have Nando's in America?
No, they don't.
They
I'm
surely
pretty
have.
sure.
They don't?
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure I saw an episode, I think, an interview with like Bradley Cooper and I think Sienna Miller, and she was talking about Nando's, and he was like, "What is Nando's?" And she was like, "It's
Wow.
it's sort of like chicken." And
I mean, it is chicken, not sort of. It is. Hopefully, it is chicken.
okay,
Okay,
we're
but
giving.
spicy sauce,
We said,
basically. Spicy sauce. Yeah.
yeah, we said no product placement. We've given at least 5 minutes to Nando's. So let's move.
Someone contact
Okay,
Nando's
so
and ask them.
yeah, hook us up. So Watkins cap for you, Sam, based on X Spice. I love it. I think it's a decent play. Uh, yeah, I'm on Salah. I'm boring. So yeah, I think that's us for this week. We've kept it short, but we'll see you next week. In the meantime,
Yeah. Get your green arrows, guys. Like, subscribe, do all the stuff, support. We appreciate all your support, and we'll see you next week.
yeah, treat this like drugs. You know a friend, push it on to them, push it on to someone else. We have good vibes and decent insights. I mean, I'll take one of those things. So yeah.